Everything else going on, you know? What's up, bro? I'm gonna come say hello. No, we're doing a, what's up, dude? Good to see you. Shooting a docu-series on black creatives in the city. This is Andre. So, yeah.
He's walking down South Street.
Yeah, he has some signs,
Yeah,
actually,
some
street signs that he's done.
Oh, those are yours down here?
Yeah.
Okay, you're everywhere.
Yeah. So, we just wanted to pop out and he's going to explain a few of them, and that'll be part of the B-roll in the episode. Yeah. So I'll let y'all know when it comes out. We'll probably. What's up, world? I'm Kamal DJ Mal Morel, DJ, entrepreneur, creator, and visionary from Philadelphia. I've always been driven by music, art, and culture and how they exist together, and it's always something that I wanted to show in my work. Along my journey as a creative, I've been introduced to incredible artists with unique stories. So I decided to shed some light on these amazing individuals who inspire me and who help to shape contemporary culture. This is In Concert. Andre Chaney is a gifted author, illustrator, and one of Philadelphia's most prominent muralists. His work is deeply rooted in his familial upbringing, bringing personal narratives to life through bold, vibrant storytelling. We caught up with Andre at Beckett Life Center in North Philly, a place that he holds near to his heart. So let's talk about what your upbringing was like and how your parents influenced or impacted where you are today.
My upbringing is complex like anybody else's upbringing. I definitely was raised in a single parent owned by my mom. That doesn't mean that my dad was totally absent. It just means that he wasn't as paramount in the upbringing as my mom. My mom, man, she was dope. She unfortunately passed away, but she was, she was dope. She was someone who was cheesy. She was what they would call corny. But my mom cultivated a space where everybody can be authentic. So if you wanted to rap, that was cool.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Look at my watch, it's blue, 2 tech deck signs on it, my Uncle Buddha got it for me.
It was very much, whatever you want to do, I'm gonna help you do that. It was very much teaching us independence. My mom was unfortunately very sick for a long time, and with that, I learned a lot through her in action and her own actions as well. But she definitely was one who wanted to see me as an artist because she knew I had the gift.
So what were your earliest interests in art? Like, of course, like if there's so much around, there's music, there's actual visual art and whatnot. What like drew you to where you are? You used to draw like pictures of LeBron dunking or something like that, or was it like, or did you rap at all? Like what sort of like were your earliest memories?
I always say it's always something you think you're supposed to be until you find out what it is that you're supposed to be. Because people will try to influence you. You should definitely do this, you should do that. And I always found my way to art. My mom was the battery, or she put the battery in my back to do art. And it was because she would give me sketchbooks very early at a young age. And she would say, fill this whole thing up. So I would come back and I would just sketch a little something in there and I'll be like, hey mom, like look. And she would be like, looks beautiful son, but like what does it mean? Gotcha. And when she asked me that one question of what does it mean, it kind of opened up that whole door of like how impactful art could be.
Is there like a most meaningful achievement or piece of work or piece of art that you've created thus far?
So I recently got commissioned over the last year to write and illustrate 3 short stories that are going to go up in public spaces around the city. My task was to engage the community and see what stories they wanted to be told about the environment around them. This was my first rodeo at authoring all 3 of these stories. So you'll hear me say this a lot, bro. Each of these songs are really special to me. So this song specifically says, our faith unites us and strengthens our bond. So I wanted to use the church as an overlay on top of both of them to kind of show the link between them two being the church, because it was really something that brought them closer together as they both fought for it. But with her being like such a pivotal backbone to him, I wanted each of my street songs to be very, very figure heavy, because I wanted the actual affirmation to show the impact that it would have on the figures in the piece.
Can you just talk about like what your process during that time looked like? Did you find yourself digging more into your passion, or was it like something that you were like, I know I could do this, I might get away from it a little bit and I'll come back to it kind of thing? What did that look like for you?
So I can't even say that I dived deeper into my artistry the way that I was supposed to as a teen. I know what was the rekindle, or what allowed me to rekindle that, and that's kind of later into high school, but I kind of strayed away from it because my responsibilities started to become a burden for me. I have to find a job. I got to cut grass, shovel snow, or I got to start working at the barbershop, which I started doing at age 11.
Can you cut too, or no?
I can sweep up some hair.
Oh, cool.
I can sweep up some hair,
Okay.
but no, I can't cut. But that's what I was doing in the barbershop. You would think as a young boy, you're saving up to get the next pair of J's. That wasn't me. I was saving up so that when my mom needed to dip into her reserves, I got this for you, I got that for you. So that's where my mindset kind of shifted to, is more practical living.
You mentioned that rekindling. What was that rekindling moment in your life where you were like, yo, art is calling me, I gotta pick up?
Yeah, so I went to Chad, which is was closed down now, unfortunately, but it's a charter high school for architecture and design. It was kind of pushing me back into it because every assignment that we had was focused around art. So even if it was math, they would try to find a way early on to incorporate art in it. But even that wasn't really pushing me to get back into art. It was more so just like, oh, this is cool. I like the fact that they got me drawing time to time. But I had met my brother, like to this day, I had met Nas. He had came in with, like, he was the embodiment of that. So whether it was fashion, whether it was still getting into the sketchbook, he has this one painting at his house because we used to go over his house all the time. And I was like, yo, that's fire.
Yeah.
And we just would talk about our aspirations and things we wanted to do before responsibility crept in. And, you know, he mentioned this group he was trying to put together called Third Eye Tribe. And the whole vision of Third Eye Tribe was just to explore the creative depths of each person. Everybody didn't have to do art, but you had to do what your calling was. And that just really kind of put me back into the space. I was like, man, it feels good to be around that. That was that moment that kind of rekindled that for me, and it's been that way ever since. So this one is titled Black History is Rich and Vibrant, which is very obvious. So if you can look in the background, you can see that there are images in the background. Those are all hand painted.
Oh, wow.
So when I created the image, I overlaid it into the background, and then brought the figures up front, also with the text and things like that, to kind of show that obviously, like with the vibrancy using the color yellow and things like that, the sun rays, that our history is, and indeed, rich and vibrant. So obviously all of the different things I do are different, but they still fall into the same umbrella of expression, creativity, and art. I've found a true love for illustrating children's books. I didn't know that writing children's books would have such a profound hold on me, but they do. I remember what it felt like to pick up a Dr. Seuss book, or to read, you know, If You Give a Moose a Muffin, if you read Where the Wild Things Are. Like, there are true memories, core memories, centered around reading children's books. And they are fundamental for development when it comes to children. And refining that love for it came from, you know, me doing a lot of activism and community work and seeing that there's a true deficit in, you know, children's reading ability. The literacy is heartbreaking. I can't even say it's sad, it's heartbreaking. And we would have to really search and find that we failed them somewhere. We can't put all the onus and accountability on them, but when I started to realize that, I felt a sense of responsibility. And it's almost like, well, how can I get involved and make change in that department? The illustrating part is important, but the writing part is extremely important because you have the ability to make it digestible for them.
How do you measure impact?
That's a great question. I guess it just depends on what I'm doing. I would measure impact based upon how self-sufficient they can be after they get the information I've given them. As it pertains to actually like doing visual art, I would garner that metric or measure that metric off of their response. I painted some steps in the library about a year ago. Everybody was like, oh, what if the kids are going to mess it up by stepping on it, because it was never meant to be permanent. But they're like, they're going to step on it. And I was like, well, just as long as they taking a step into the right direction up the library, that's all that matters. And I've literally heard since then that so many kids like love seeing it. I heard it in so many different spaces, whether it's, you know, people that I know in the city, working in the city, how it's impacted them, or just regular community members. We got one right here.
Okay.
This one right here was the first sign I made.
Yeah.
So everyone followed this one. But this one is knowledge as a torch. This one is kind of, you take it at face value of exactly what it is, but just like Black history is rich and vibrant, that passing of the torch is extremely important as it pertains to knowledge, like I said, for our own survival and things like that. So this one, aesthetically, is probably my favorite piece, but impactful wise, you get this one is, like I said, more face value.
What's the soundtrack for your work? Who goes on there? Who gets left off? Clearly some people get left off, but who goes on there? And what goes on there? And for what reason?
So my soundtrack is like a smorgasbord, I'm gonna be honest. A word was mentioned earlier, which was hope. And I love that, because that is one of the things that I truly want to get across with my pieces is hope. So if I'm thinking that, I'm definitely thinking like Michael Jackson is extremely extremely influential to me, but not only to me, but my family as well. Growing up in a house where my grandma loved Michael Jackson. I would throw Drake on there, only because like you reach a certain level, you know, you're doing your thing. Drake do speak for those types of experiences, you know. You can really talk,
Yeah.
and I think that's important. But Kendrick will be on there for sure. You will see probably some You Got a Friend in Me, some Monsters Inc., just that.
Gotcha.
that you'll see that on there.
Yeah.
But anything that connects me to my childhood is what allows me to be hopeful, to tell these hopeful stories, because that's all I want. I'm very optimistic. I'm realistic as well, but my optimism overshines the realism in me, because to be realistic is to be of the world and see the things that's going on. To be optimistic is to see beyond that in a world that can be hopeful, the future that can be hopeful. Yeah, so it'd be a smorgasbord of artists. So this one in particular, Star Garden is actually right across the street. And so I didn't know how much like play had to do in urban communities. I did a lot of research on that, and they spoke about how play had a lot to do with survival. And so when there was like an inequity of play spaces in the city, there was this whole movement around making that so that we had somewhere to go and play. But this one is called Play Nourishes the Soul, because I truly agree that whatever age you are, it doesn't matter. Play is a necessity in life, but especially for the children. They have to have a space to be themselves, to play, to interact, to bond.
Do you think you're living within your purpose?
Yes, I feel like, and the only reason I say that is because anytime I strayed away from this, I was always brought back. You'll know when you're doing what you're supposed to do because you'll see the results. And the results that you'll see will be results that make you really question whether or not you should be doing anything else. So yeah, I think I was called to do that, because I'm not saying I'm not good at anything else. I just don't feel the same doing anything else. So this is the mural in South Philly we was talking about, bro. And honestly, this is one of my favorite murals in the city that I worked on. And it took a couple months to do. Wound up starting it off in like the fall, and had to, because you can't work on a mural throughout the winter. So me and Keisha came up with some really creative ideas on how to like capture the dope essence of South Philly. So this mural is actually titled The Extraordinary in the Everyday, because there's always extraordinary things going on in South Philly, but there's also the everyday. So the everyday scenes are like here, you may have like people cleaning up, kids playing, you may have like some protests, and you also have local businesses going on, and then you have like some of the extraordinary, us going to the Super Bowl, you have some of our teams and things like that. But this piece is littered with a bunch of Easter eggs in it. Like you'll see like the football team, the baseball team, the basketball team at the top, which it wasn't really meant for you to see like pop out, because you know, it's already very color heavy, so we wanted to keep some things kind of to the background, such as like the train as well. But this is a mural you can come to 30 times and always see something different in it, over and over again. These Polaroid pictures of the local businesses here. This is Fleischer Art Memorial's window right here, so paying homage to a lot of the local businesses as well.
I was going to ask about that. I see Marion Anderson too.
Museum, the History of Italian Immigration Museum as well. So, well, like I said, when we went to all of the local establishments, we wanted to like represent them all. Even like on this newspaper here, showing the history of South 10th Street. There was a fire that had occurred, and it was really important to the neighborhood and things like that. So we wanted to put that in there as well. So just so much that's in this piece that kind of calls out to just South Philly in general.